Oh, I'm not going to talk about Tom Hanks either, who is also a pedophile. Tom Hanks, folks, is a pedophile.
You're watching Gossip Canon, where we break down the biggest stories in entertainment. Subscribe and hit the bell so you're always up to date. What if everything you thought you knew about Tom Hanks was a lie? For decades, he's been America's dad, the wholesome, kind-hearted actor who made us cry in Forrest Gump and cheer in Saving Private Ryan. But behind that warm smile, some say, is a much darker truth. In 2019, a struggling Hollywood actor named Isaac Kappy went viral for making wild accusations against some of the biggest names in the industry. One name stood out, Tom Hanks. Days later, Kappy was dead. Officially, it was ruled a suicide, but before he died, he repeated one chilling phrase over and over, "I'm not suicidal." Then, right before Kappy's death, Tom Hanks posted a photo, a single glove on Route 66, the caption, "Roadkill." To the world, it seemed like a quirky post. To conspiracy theorists, it felt like a warning. And it didn't stop there. Years later, Hanks's own son would step forward and say something that turned even more heads. So the question is, was Isaac Kappy unraveling or uncovering? Let's get into it. Isaac Kappy wasn't a household name. You might have caught a glimpse of him in Thor, Terminator Salvation, or even a brief spot on Breaking Bad. But it wasn't his acting that got people talking. It was what he said when the cameras stopped rolling. In a series of unsettling live streams and social media posts, Kappy began calling out major Hollywood players. Not with vague allusions or cryptic metaphors, he named names: Steven Spielberg, Oprah, Seth Green, and most notably, Tom Hanks. His claim? That Hollywood was run by a powerful inner circle hiding something sinister. He described it as a system built on manipulation and abuse, protected by silence. And to him, Hanks, the man with the cleanest image in the business, wasn't just part of it. He was at the center. "I'm not suicidal," Kappy repeated again and again, as if bracing the world for what was about to happen. And then it did. On May 13th, 2019, Isaac Kappy was found dead. He had either fallen or jumped from a bridge in Arizona. The official story said suicide, but those who followed him closely weren't buying it. Just days before, he posted a cryptic message online, part confession, part warning. He admitted to arrogance, apologized for hurting people, and said he let the darkness consume him. But even then, he insisted, "I'm not suicidal. I'm not going to say what I did. It could still endanger people." To his followers, that wasn't a goodbye. It was a red flag, and it made what came next feel even more disturbing. Just before Isaac Kappy's death, Tom Hanks posted something bizarre on Instagram, a photo of a single glove lying on the side of historic Route 66. The caption, "Roadkill, I hope not." At first glance, it looked like just another quirky post, the kind of random thing celebrities share when they want to seem relatable. But to people who were already watching Kappy's story unfold, it didn't feel random at all. Because Route 66 was the same highway near where Kappy's body was found. Suddenly, that photo didn't feel like a coincidence. It felt like a message, or worse, a signal. Theories started flying. Was it a joke, a code, a taunt? To some, it looked like confirmation that Kappy had gotten too close to something he wasn't supposed to. And to others, it was the first clue in a much larger pattern. Because as people began digging through Hanks's social media, they noticed something else. The glove wasn't the only strange post. Isaac Kappy didn't whisper. He didn't beat around the bush or hint from the shadows. He went public, loud, clear, and bold. He sat in front of the camera and said it flat out. Tom Hanks is a predator. People called him crazy. Others called him brave. But whether you believed him or not, what happened next was chilling. Because Tom Hanks said nothing. No denial, no lawsuit, no comment, nothing. In Hollywood, a reputation is everything. Most celebrities would fight tooth and nail to shut down even the smallest rumor, especially one this disturbing. But Hanks, he just kept posting quirky photos, kept smiling for red carpets, kept quiet. And that silence, it got louder, because Kappy's claims weren't vague. He painted a picture of an industry rotting from the inside, where the most powerful names protected each other while the rest stayed silent out of fear. And then he was gone. To the mainstream, it looked like a mental breakdown. To conspiracy circles, it looked like a man silenced for knowing too much. And to many watching from the sidelines, one question lingered. If it was all fake, why didn't Tom Hanks say a word? For years, Tom Hanks didn't flinch. No statements, no interviews, just silence. But in 2024, something unexpected happened. And it didn't come from a journalist or conspiracy theorist. It came from his own son. Chet Hanks, rapper, actor, and the often controversial son of Tom Hanks, posted a video. It wasn't about conspiracies or coded messages. It was something much harder to ignore, raw emotion. In a video disguised as a motivational talk for his self-help program, Chet dropped bombshell after bombshell about what it was like growing up as the child of one of Hollywood's most beloved icons. And it wasn't the fairy tale people assumed. He talked about relentless bullying, feeling like an outcast, and never having a strong male role model to turn to. According to Chet, while the world worshipped his father, he felt abandoned by him. Instead of being there for me, he said, he was off chasing fame and rubbing shoulders with Hollywood's elite. Chet admitted he developed a chip on his shoulder, walking around angry, bitter, and lost. He described a childhood where he was hated before anyone knew him, judged for being Tom Hanks's son, while his father basked in the glow of Hollywood admiration. "My dad is beloved," he said, "but I was just the son of somebody famous, and that created a lot of contempt." Suddenly, the idea of Tom Hanks as America's dad didn't feel so solid. The wholesome image began to crack, not because of anonymous rumors, but because of his own child. Despite the storm brewing around him, from Isaac Kappy's accusations to his son's emotional revelations, Tom Hanks never flinched. And maybe he didn't have to, because Tom isn't just another actor, he's Hollywood royalty. And the deeper you look into his circle, the clearer that becomes. In 2016, Hanks received one of the highest civilian honors in the United States, the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Awarded by Barack Obama himself, Hanks stood beside legends like Bruce Springsteen, Michael Jordan, and Diana Ross. Obama even called him America's dad, praising his integrity and character. But after Chet's video, that praise felt off. One fan bluntly responded, "That must be the 'I'm the sickest F in every room' medal." Still, the accolades didn't stop there. Photos began surfacing of Tom at elite gatherings, not just movie sets, but real power rooms. Cozy dinners with Spielberg, backyard parties with the Obamas, lavish Hollywood events hosted at his $26 million mansion in Pacific Palisades. And then came the big one, Tom and Rita Wilson's 35th wedding anniversary. But this wasn't a quiet night in. This was a full-blown celebrity summit. Barack and Michelle Obama, Steven Spielberg, Bruce Springsteen, Kate Capshaw, all under one roof, his roof. To the outside world, it looked like a celebration. To critics, it looked like a power move. Because in Hollywood, connections are everything. And if Tom Hanks really was hiding something, whether personal, professional, or darker, he clearly had the right people around him to make it all disappear. If Isaac Kappy cracked the door open, the internet kicked it wide open. Because once his followers started digging into Tom Hanks' history, they didn't stop. And what they found, or thought they found, only fueled the fire. One of the most bizarre theories to emerge was something called the Red Shoe Club. According to conspiracy circles, red shoes are worn by members of elite occult groups, A
A
secret
pedophile.
code
Tom
for
Hanks,
something
folks,
sinister.
is a pedophile.
It's a theory rooted in long debunked and even anti-Semitic claims, but that didn't stop people from connecting it to Tom. Why? Because in 1985, he starred in a comedy called The Man with One Red Shoe. And to some, that was all the proof they needed. Yes, it was a light-hearted movie. No, there's no evidence it had any hidden meaning. But when paired with Kappy's death, the strange glove photo, and years of eerie Instagram posts from Hanks featuring lone shoes, socks, and gloves, believers didn't see coincidence. They saw breadcrumbs. Even Hanks' quirky captions, the kind that once seemed harmless, were now viewed through a darker lens. Every object became a clue, every word a code. People started dissecting old interviews, award speeches, and film roles, convinced that somewhere in the footage was a slip-up, a sign, a confession hiding in plain sight. And while the average person saw nothing more than an actor being odd, those already suspicious saw a carefully orchestrated trail, one they believed pointed to something hiding just beneath Hollywood's shiny surface. As the theories spread, so did the headlines, or at least what looked like headlines. In 2020, a meme began circulating claiming Tom Hanks had been arrested in Australia. The image showed him supposedly wearing an ankle monitor. The accusation unthinkable. But here's the thing, the photo was real. The ankle monitor wasn't. Then came a fake BBC News screenshot that said Tom Hanks had been arrested on 135 counts of child pee possession. It looked legitimate. It wasn't. The image was digitally altered, completely fabricated. But that didn't matter to the internet. It went viral anyway. And when Tom Hanks didn't sue, that silence only made things worse. Skeptics pointed to his sudden move to Greece as more proof. In the spring of 2020, just after claiming to have tested positive for COVID, Hanks and his wife Rita Wilson left Australia and resurfaced in Greece, where he was granted full citizenship. To most, it was a relocation. To conspiracy theorists, it looked like an escape. Why Greece? Because, they claimed, the country offered legal protections that could shield citizens from extradition for certain crimes, a rumour that's mostly unfounded, but potent enough to light up online forums for months. And then there were the fans, not the theorists, not the trolls, just regular people watching it all unfold. One wrote, "I was having a hard time believing anything until he disappeared and reappeared as a Greek citizen. That's when my eyes opened." Another said, "If these accusations are fake, why hasn't he sued anyone? He's rich, he's powerful, why the silence?" The lines between rumour and reality blurred. And Tom Hanks, once the most trusted man in Hollywood, became the centerpiece of a storm no one saw coming. For years, Tom Hanks stayed silent on the rumours. The glove, the Instagram breadcrumbs, the death of Isaac Kappy, the internet wildfire. But eventually, he did speak. Just not about any of that. In later interviews, Hanks began discussing something else. The dark side of Hollywood. The pressure. The abuse of power. The secrets everyone kind of knows, but rarely says out loud. He admitted that not everyone's at their best on set. That people get away with things because they're the star, that the system protects them. He didn't name names, he didn't address Kappy, but he did start talking. And what he said was complicated. He described the emotional toll of fame, the cracks behind the curtain, the weight of playing a role when your life is falling apart. He acknowledged that there's a hierarchy in Hollywood and that it's been exploited, that too many people have used their positions for all the wrong reasons. He called for change, for accountability, for equity. And to many, that sounded noble, honest, real. But to others, it felt calculated, like he was trying to get ahead of the narrative without ever confronting the heart of it. Because the truth is, Hanks has never once denied Kappy's claims, never responded to the accusations, never filed a lawsuit, not against the conspiracists, not against the fake headlines, Not even against the people who declared he was wearing an ankle monitor. And for those watching from the outside, that silence still speaks louder than any Instagram caption ever could. Tom Hanks has spent decades building the perfect image: kind, humble, generous. The guy who cried with us in Cast Away, who danced on a giant piano in Big, who made Life Like a Box of Chocolates iconic. But now that image has cracks. And through those cracks, people are seeing something they never expected. Isaac Kappy's final words, the glove on Route 66, the eerie Instagram posts, the silence. Add to that a son who says his dad was too busy chasing fame to be a father, and a growing list of strange coincidences, elite parties, fake arrest rumors, and sudden citizenship changes. And you're left with a question no one wants to ask. What if America's dad isn't who we thought he was? To some, it's all nonsense, desperate people connecting dots that don't exist. To others, it's the beginning of a truth too big to ignore. But whether you believe Isaac Kappy was a troubled actor or a whistleblower silenced too soon, one thing is undeniable: Tom Hanks has never answered, never acknowledged, never explained. And sometimes the loudest sound in the room is silence. And that's today's blast from the cannon. What do you think about all the drama? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We read everything. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you're first in line for the next celebrity explosion. This is Gossip Cannon signing off, where the truth isn't just spilled, it's detonated.